Today for me was almost like a battle of work, but I eventually pushed through it, finishing up with a few other bonus events that I would definitely know. In the morning period, I decided to sleep in this time and take it in before I decide what I want to do in the morning, such as like exercise or maybe visit a new friend group in the morning. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm still going to decide on that. Other than that, I went to school around 8:20 a.m. In first period, I filled out a Spanish diary covering preterite, and it was difficult because I had to handle multiple different conjugations. I tried to use haber plus the past participle on one of them using ha esperado, but the teacher made me use preterite instead. The teacher then made a disappointing announcement to one of the students and why they keep being annoyed as a person because one of the class clown kids keep acting like class clown kids. After that, I was assigned another 150 problem online assignment where I had to properly conjugate 150 verbs in preterite, even though haber plus past participle is exponentially easier. I tried to bring it to next class in my computer, but I realized this was PE, so we don't have 15 extra minutes unlike Tuesday through Thursday, so I had to turn it off and do it instead. At home, though, it was disappointing because I had to waste about like 30 minutes trying to do 150 different verb conjugations. But when it comes to preterite, I gotta memorize like about over 100 different conjugations, if you could leave it like that. But think of it as the final push of work. I finally finished that stuff up later on after school. As for second period, this time PE, I did two full laps around the entire school field in 10 minutes, and after that, I felt like Springtrap in his sitting position. But after that, I went to go play volleyball with a few people nearby that I sometimes play with. A funny mention that one of them said playfully as everybody was laughing. A lot of people were missing hits, but that's what made everyone laugh. I was one of them saying to the other kids on the other side, quote unquote, no leprechaun, no Jew, quote unquote, no anti-Semitism here, but my team referred to them as those two terms and those two small kids. Obviously, there's one kid in a white hood and there's one other ginger kid in glasses. It was funny and we all had a great laugh. Though, to be really honest, it was a pretty fun volleyball game, I admit, because they all kept missing shots. But when someone threw a good shot, I do admit, like one of the good serves, I was able to catch one of them. But this time, I only caught one of it, but I missed it because it deflected onto my arm and not my palm, so I'd usually serve it. So it reflected off of my arm and onto the ground nearby. So I was kind of disappointed. But on another hit, though, I was able to catch the volleyball, not catch the volleyball, but I was able to serve the volleyball again, and I made it a pretty hard hit that they were able to eventually send back to the other side. Later on, those same tough boys that are always in my team and a bunch of other people joined, also along with a large amount of other random people that have never played this game before. They all joined in, and as they did, I voluntarily left the game because it was getting way too diluted in terms of skill set. Other than that, though, the game went pretty fun. Credit to Seb, the ginger guy, and credit to the other short guy they call the Jew, but I'm not really sure what his name was. But credit to him anyway, and the white hoodie, even though that sounds kind of disrespectful for me to say it that way, but I don't have any other terms. As for third period, we did the second quiz about oceans, and unlike my last score, I got an 11 out of 16, which is still pretty low, but way higher than before. I got confused at first because we were doing because I thought we were doing the quiz at the beginning of class, but we were actually finishing up an ed puzzle assignment that the teacher was projecting on the screen. I thought he was projecting on the screen like the quiz code, but I was incorrect. But that wasn't a code anyway. That was only showed much later on. Credit to Lynn, one of my former Socratic seminar partners I've mentioned like 1,000 times here. Before the quiz, one of those funny kids asked, is this a part of the quiz? To the teacher asking about the ed puzzle stuff. The teacher answered, no, are you slow? Then they accepted the concession and they said, okay, fine, I'll stop. After a bunch of other things they were saying, and they said, I am being disrespected. And then everybody eventually blew out laughing, even that kid too. It was all about oceans and ocean density this time, learning about how the trash in the Pacific Ocean just blows all the way over using the natural wind currents of Earth. For the ones curious, though, in order to name all the proper oceans, I used this site, and I'm going to cite that in my description if you guys want to know. As for fourth period, we worked on more notes about World War II and how Germany was approached by the US allies on the west from Sicily and the east by the USSR, eventually closing back directly on Germany, taking over Berlin, winning the battle, and liberating those death camps. I learned primarily how Operation D-Day eventually won future victories, even though the USSR wanted to do one more little thing before invading France to do D-Day. But eventually, with both of their efforts, the two fronts attack eventually won. Technically, three front from Sicily, but two front attack just for this reason. And I tried to do notes in Spanish, but it was quite difficult, so I substituted a bunch of English nouns to it. After those notes, I worked on a book search assignment that I thought I had finished, following my days in Operation First Lunch I've covered before. But there was a backside that I did not know existed at all, so I was very disappointed. I wanted to work on something else. So what I did is that I tried to finish it, but instead I just copied down those questions, then finished it later. Since that social studies book makes it inherently difficult to find any correct answer, so I'm just leaving it like that. There's always a back page on one assignment out of random chance that I don't know even had a back page. So that was kind of disappointing. I finished up the assignment during lunch period, so big credits to Layla for letting me borrow your mechanical pencil, and it went mostly chill at this point. Fifth period, I bet the typical 13 cents again, and I'm not sure today if students were late. Happy birthday to one of the girls today, that's in my row. And other than that, our teacher's question of would you rather today was going to be, would you let your partner access your passwords or would you let them access your location? And I found the question quite interesting, though I won't answer it here. I might do it in a different video, though. After that, I finished up a no red ink assignment, though that took me another full 30 minutes, and then another 10 minutes to use the restroom, leaving me about 15 more minutes to complete a review assignment. about Lord of the Flies, and then a public discussion assignment board where I had to answer a prompt and I also answered to two other kids in full sentences. I wasn't able to finish the board discussion, but I did finish it during sixth period, which was math. As for sixth period, we did a review assignment to simplify radicals in A plus BI form, and it was about 16 problems. I was able to finish up right on time. After that, I finished up the discussion board, as I'd already said. And the thing is that while I was working, the boys I talked to, they always say the craziest stuff ever. When I said something light to one of them, he said, "quote unquote, I'm gonna R word you," quote unquote. And I was like, "What, bro?" Then obviously I repeated the 6 7 joke just to annoy him, and then he said that I need help. But to annoy him as a counter to his annoyance to me, I told him to repeat it in Spanish. He said, quote unquote, necesita ayuda, to his other friend about me. So I doubled down and said, quote unquote, no sir, it is tu necesitas ayudarme because you have to keep ayudar in its infinitive form so you're not incorrect grammatically. And then he interrupted me, saying that, quote unquote, hey, shut the F up, please, bro, quote unquote. And after that, they shifted their conversation to a Roblox character they're addicted in, which was named Melanie. And I said they're addicted to it like 1,000 times before that, I've always been mentioning. And of course, another question that one of them asked to the teacher, quote unquote, hey, are you Polish? Which is a direct mention to, something that's been going on in World War II. And I said to him, that sounds kind of disrespectful in this context, but he didn't really budge. But the teacher didn't really mind either. I don't know why he decided to ask that question, but just boys are boys sometimes. Oh, they said something racist about some languages like Ching Chong language, which one of them said they took offense to counter his ego, with my annoyance, with his annoyance. I said, quote unquote, but sir, you're not Chinese. You can't take offense to that directly. Like, sure, he did say Ching Chong, but you're Cambodian, sir, quote unquote. He also told me to kind of shush my mouth up, but he insisted anyway, and they all end up having enough. I mean, like, really funny. Oh, I'm just being repetitive at this point, but you guys get it. Now, the odd thing that I see is that later on, they said some disgusting thing about, quote unquote, Napoleon is going to give all of you guys sloppy, quote unquote. And I just found that so weird yet again, but it's still expected of them. They doubled down to each other saying, like, quote unquote, no, the Roblox character Melanie will give everyone sloppy, quote unquote. And I'm like, oh my god, you guys are funny, but, like, crazy stuff, crazy people. And I'm like, yes, oh my god, that is disgusting. Sloppies are ice slushies, and sloppies are something that you do to someone in private. You don't talk about that in public. You don't speak about that in class because all of a sudden someone's going to speak that on YouTube and now everybody's going to know that you guys said that like 300,000 years ago anyway. Like, they are funny, I admit that, but like, you can't say that in public in a classroom full of puberteen kids, just to sound a little medieval here. Of course, the teacher too kept rambling about how the class doesn't listen and how one of the students tried selling chocolate during class, so the teacher tried to veto it. The boys challenged her right at dismissal, but I was just kind of sighing at that point. I just wanted to leave class real. A bonus experience though that I was too lazy to make about 2 days earlier. This one's going on to something completely different during Saturday. So on Saturday, I went to go to the beach with my mom, and my friends weren't there today. The ones that I had met like a month ago that live somewhere near me. So what I did is that instead of going to the beach, we'll take a quick walk near the beach. Then I visited the local Laguna Beach Library and experienced like, oh my god, when I first entered that library. I have never experienced this place before, ever. It felt so for real, surreal, not for real. The first few minutes I entered inside because there was white inside all over the place in terms of factory type of white lighting. Either books, quiet atmosphere. It's like the one that's in my county. It's like the one that's also within my school. But it's just different. I've never seen a place like this before. And I assume that it's the first time that you go somewhere new. Your brain gets overwhelmed with a lot of dopamine. See, like the idea of uncertainty of a new place. But once you know it, you know it. Anyways, I talked to them about some sort of library card, and they said that I needed an ID if I wanted to get one of the books. So I'm gonna go get a book, but I also need my ID later on because I might be visiting the beach sometime again in the days. Those are the two local librarians here, one female and one male. Later on that day, I didn't really do much except visit the local Mozambique steakhouse for a nice lunch. Credit to the white guy that serves us there all the time. And in there, I always order the steak burger, just without the cheese and sauces, and maybe the calamari too. If you guys ever visit Mozambique Steakhouse, tell me that this is coming directly from me. If you guys ever meet that brown guy that's with the gray shirt, he's part of that parking lot guy. He's like the valet parking dude. He has that nice mustache. Brown guy, as I said, black pants, gray shirt. Tell him that Adrian were here. Especially to that other white guy. That was the white guy server. Even though that sounds really disrespectful, I'm saying that right now. It's the only way that I can describe him. The white guy server there that's also there. Tell them that Adrian says hi. He was here last week. So I'm just leaving. If you guys ever visit Laguna Beach and ever go there, please mention my name. Please mention me. If you guys want to. But other than that, this is it. See you guys.